Just making this video to clarify the events of last Monday the 8th of June, to let people know what happened. I think it's been described by the Gardaí as a hit and run. This is totally untrue. A lot of the members came back to my house for tea after the court and a sandwich. And when it came to time to go, 3 people had to get the 6:05 train from Ballina, and another man had to be dropped in Ballina. So probably left my house at maybe 20 to 6, went into town, dropped these 3 people at the train station, proceeded then down towards the quays with another man who I let off down there. And coming back, I was immediately picked up by a Mark squad car. I drove down an area of the town called Green Hills, hidden for the centre of the town, and met the unmarked squad car coming towards me, which slowed down, watched that I went over the bridge into the centre of the town. I seen it turn, but I didn't see where it went after that, but I continued on my journey. I drove through the town, and as I turned around the post office, 2 Gardaí were standing on the path at the entrance to a car park, and it was very clear they were waiting for me. There was no checkpoint, as has been stated. They specifically targeted me and stopped traffic and told me to move over, or to pull over. The traffic wasn't going anywhere, so I began to edge to the left to pull over. With that, one of the guards stood in front of the car, told me to pull over, but he was in my way. He then brushed his knee off the bumper and said, "Oh, that's assault," and said to his colleague, "Did you witness that?" And he says, "Oh, I did, yeah." He then says, "Right, that's it, Doocey, you're fucking dead. Get out of the car." And this particular guard was involved in the raid on the 17th of January, and he had threatened me and assaulted me on that day as well. The 2 Gardaí were very aggressive. They had their hands on their batons. They had no squad car. They weren't in yellow vests. It wasn't a checkpoint. This is lies. I drove off. I proceeded to the lights. I couldn't go through the lights because there was 3 cars in front of me. I had to wait for the lights to go green. These guards ran side by side on the car, smashing it with batons, smashing all perspex off the driver's side window. I've never seen such aggression or animosity, especially when they knew who I was and they knew where I lived. You know, I wasn't going to stop and be a punch bag or a target for these people. When the lights did go green and the cars got out of the way, there was a bit of a traffic jam. I had to get away. A van tried to run me off the road and he kept hitting me. I will be suing him for driving into me. I did manage to turn the car and I did manage to get away. And I had to get away, and now I've had to leave Ballina for my own personal safety, not because of a hit and run. There's no hit and run. And whatever's coming out in the papers and whatever is very inaccurate. And what the spin that the Gardaí are putting on this is totally inaccurate. And I have no fear facing charges in a proper courtroom, but that's another day's work. Yeah, there's also another document. The document that's going up is about Garda whistleblowers and 20 Garda sergeants who were bullied out of the force for trying to do the right thing. I'm also preparing a report on suicide within the Gardaí, where apparently Gardaí who don't do what they're told get bullied, and there's quite a lot of suicide there. Just another thing that I'd like to mention there is that I'm sure this isn't being publicised by the Gardaí at all, but a few witnesses have come forward. This witness actually happened back near the post office, not where the Gardaí are stating it happened. And a good few witnesses are coming forward in my favour that they witnessed the Gardaí attacking me and being aggressive with me. It's not in my nature to be violent. I'm a peaceful man. There's been an awful lot of suspicious deaths over the years at the hands of the Gardaí, or at least the arrow points to them. I know the Toohey family in Clare County Offaly, and their son Shane, that was found dead in the river, who the Gardaí claimed had drowned, and had a pathologist state that he drowned, was complete lies on behalf of the Gardaí. And when he was re-examined by a pathologist from another country, there was no water in his lungs. He didn't drown. So what did happen? We have the Brian Rossiter case in Tipperary, a 14-year-old lad who was found dead in a cell, who the Gardaí claimed had toxicants in his drugs in his system and alcohol. And when it was done by an independent, there was nothing in his system. Again, the finger of blame points at the Gardaí. People don't want to forget Donegal, the McBrearty case, the Frank Short case. There's cases all over this country. We have an out-of-control police force. In my estimation, at the minute, are the criminals in this country. Listen to your TDs, listen to Luke Ming-Flanagan, what he's saying about Gardaí and heroin sales. Listen to Claire Daly and Mick Wallace on the penalty point saga. Listen to the whistleblowers. It's, our judges are involved. We haven't got a justice system at the minute. We have a mafia-based system that will convict you whether you're guilty or innocent. I'd like to think that I'm making a lead in this area to unveil the corruption and expose these people high up that's involved in it. I have no fear of that, and I will continue to do what I'm doing. But at the minute, I have to do it at a safe distance because of the threat from the Gardaí. There's several reasons as to why the Gardaí reacted so quickly after the court case last Monday and seriously went out of the way to get me. Stephen Manning, another member of Integrity Ireland, declared himself for election in the first independent Mayo candidate, and I was to be his campaign manager. Now we're in Enda Kenny's back garden on this mission, and we know that Enda Kenny is involved in covering up a lot of corruption. I think it's a disgrace. They're obviously frightened of Stephen because he is a man of integrity. He seems to have indeed have been a threat to the campaign or the organiser of the first independent election, Eddie Farrell. He immediately dropped Stephen. Stephen hasn't done anything wrong. I haven't done anything wrong. So it goes to show that the reason that they were running the election for was just to continue politics as normal, that there'd be no change in the system of Ireland. So I think Stephen is as well off out of it, and I hope he runs as an independent himself, because he will be a good man and he will do good if he gets into government, and he will have a lot of support and help from myself and other members of Integrity. I'd like to tell you about a little incident that happened a few days before the court case, before the 8th of June, probably midweek, the week before. Whatever day it was dry, I went out and I cut all the lawns around the house, and it was grand. Did a bit of tidying up, and that was my day. The next morning I got out and I seen on the back lawn what looked like a piece of a black pipe. I went over to examine it and found out that it was a Garda baton, which obviously had been dropped. To me, it indicated that the guards must have been snooping around the house again in the middle of the night. I'm actually going to put up a photograph of this baton and the serial number. People need to realise that I've had 15 years of being set up, framed and harassed by Gardaí. So has my family. It's just gone to the point where I am not going to back down until I unveil what's going on. As I say, I'm prepared to do it the peaceful and the lawful way and the legal way. But I cannot allow myself just to stand there and be a target and make it easy for someone to kill me. And that is the only reason I am where I am at the minute, in a location where I won't be found, with plenty of protection. And that is an awful way to have to live. So, I'd just like to say that since I've left, the Gardaí are constantly harassing my father, driving to the house. It's not a house that you can drive by to go down to it. It's in a cul-de-sac. It's the last house on the road. So if they do go down, it's only for the purpose of intimidation and harassment. If you follow Anne's story on I think it's Facebook, she was followed last week down through Wicklow, pulled, car searched, squad car sitting outside her house. The Gardaí are putting a spin on this, that there's this massive or that I'm this evil fugitive on the run. That's not me. I'm not out to do anyone any harm, but I will defend myself if I have to. So, when they can't get me, they decide to pick on an innocent woman, the love of my life, which now I'm separated from, and I need to get back to her. And my father, this is hurtful.